They never wanted you to hear this. The truth was buried under monuments, burned in libraries, and whispered only in shadows. But here you are, drawn to a voice that cracks the seal. What if I told you the dream you cling to is not entirely your own? That somewhere in the machinery of empire, your desires were engineered, dripped into your veins by priests, kings, and corporations who learned how to weaponize your imagination. From ancient temples where initiates were drugged to see visions, to modern screens that bend your focus into profit, the dream has always been controlled. Men were broken not by swords, but by stories whispered into their souls, convincing them they were small. And yet, some resisted. They tore away the veil and found the power hidden behind the illusion. That's where we begin tonight, not in comfort, but in forbidden territory. Think about it. Why do men surrender their fire so easily? It's not because they are weak, it's because they were taught to confuse obedience with survival. Long before you were born, kings understood that the most effective chains are invisible. Religion was twisted into a theater of control. Governments built systems of fear and markets forged prisons of desire. They told you to dream, but only within the borders they designed. The path was scripted: obey, consume, die quietly. And the most brutal part? They convinced you it was your choice. That is the architecture of control, to whisper lies until you guard your own cage. But here's the fracture they fear most: when a man realizes his dream is not permission, but rebellion. The moment you awaken, the game changes. And once you see the bars, you'll never again mistake them for freedom. Every empire knows this secret. Control the dream, and you control the man. But when you steal it back, you become something dangerous. That's why those who rise are always hunted, silenced, or rewritten out of history. The dream is not soft. It is a weapon forged in blood and fire. And right now, you stand at a threshold. Either you keep living as they programmed you, or you reclaim what was stolen. This choice marks identity. So if you're ready to step beyond the mask, write this phrase in the comments twice like an oath: I dream awake. Do it, not for vanity, but as proof that you've crossed the line they never wanted you to see. Because from this moment, you're no longer a follower. You are the fracture, the shadow in the system, the reminder that their control is not absolute. You must understand, this is not new. Long before skyscrapers and satellites, the elites of ancient empires mastered the same architecture of control. In Babylon, priests controlled calendars, so only they could speak for the gods. In Rome, bread and circuses numbed the masses into silence while emperors drained nations. Even in the Middle Ages, knowledge itself was outlawed. Books locked away, language twisted, heretics burned alive, all to keep men from realizing the power inside their own minds. And what changed? Nothing. The rituals just evolved. Now it's screens instead of scrolls, algorithms instead of altars, but the spell is the same. Keep you distracted, obedient, dreaming only in cages. Yet history also hides a trail of rebels, men who shattered the illusion and carved kingdoms from the forbidden. They were not chosen, not blessed by institutions. They chose themselves. That's the truth they hope you never discover. Now you see it? The pattern that runs through every age. Control is not sustained by chains, but by belief. The dream is the battlefield, and your mind is the prize. That's why they distract you, feed you endless noise, and keep you afraid of your own power. But listen carefully. Once you awaken, no force can bind you. You become untouchable, not because life grows easier, but because you no longer confuse obedience with destiny. Your dream, raw and unfiltered, is not a fantasy. It is rebellion. And rebellion is survival in its purest form. From this moment, carry your dream like a weapon, sharpened by sacrifice, lit by defiance. Let it burn to the lies, the fear, the cages they built for you. Remember this: the most dangerous man is the one who dreams awake and refuses to sleep again.